Hey guys, welcome back to AutoCrit Primer. I'm your host Derek, and you're going to get a little insight about me and my life. In the last video I did was my birth. I probably should make sure I put that in the title. And as I was doing this, Nikki was like, "Hey, watch fresh. You really need to go ahead and get into the meat of the story." And I'm going to try and keep these things about 10 minutes long max. That's what I'm trying to go for. But I've always wanted to tell the story of my life because it's just been such a interesting way of life has been, and there's going to be things that deal with the supernatural, ghosts, cryptics, all kind of things. Well, you're going to get a slew of things in this story because some of the stuff you're going to be like, "There's no way in the world that all happened to this guy," and I can prove everything. Everything you're going to hear in the story is 100% proof, 100% true. And so, part one was my mom trying to get to the hospital. Part two is me being born. So in part two, my biological father, Richard, came in and was like, his name's gonna be Jack Daniels, because that's the alcohol I got drunk off of, and I've always said I was gonna name my kids after the alcohol that if I was when I was drunk and their birth came, that would be the one. And so apparently he had Jack Daniels, and that's why he couldn't drop my mom to the hospital. And when my mom had to dress him as she's in labor, driving to the hospital. So I'm born. My mom's like, no, his name's going to be Derek. She did not budge on this. And they hadn't even seen me yet because I had been kind of carted off, um, cleaning me up, getting my tag on me. And what I mean is you had these little bracelets and they weren't like what you have now, the plastic and stuff. It was just more or less like the paper. Here's your name, here's your weight, here's who your parent or parents are. And so what ended up happening is I was being born, another child was being born. Now you gotta understand, my biological side of the father is he's not a he's not a very stand up type man at this time. He has changed his life a lot from where he was but he wasn't a lot in my life a lot. But um, what ended up happening is my tag somehow and this other baby's tag had gotten fallen off and got mixed up. So when the nurse came, she was like, and so my tag got put on this other baby, and his tag got put onto me. But the thing was is that so finally the doctor, my biological Richards, finally sobered up enough. My grandfather and grandmother get there. My aunt have finally got there, and so they're bringing me in for the family to see the new child, the first grandchild of that. I'm the first grandchild from my grandfather, and he's all excited. And they bring in the other child, and immediately, immediately, there's something different. Me and this other child are not anywhere alike. Ends up that the other child was a black child. But the thing is that when you're born, you're not your skin's gonna be red, and it goes for both, and there's not a lot of pigment. So he comes in, and I'm not going to use the language. I'm trying to keep this PG 13. So he comes in, and immediately Richard sees the baby, and he was like, "Hell no, that ain't my child. That is a N-word child. Get that in." I mean, he is like losing his crap. You gotta understand, he's plastered drunk. He's losing his crap. My mom now is finally like hit her because she's been so stoic and ready, and she's going, and he's like accusing my mom and the whole thing, and then my grandfather has to like yank him out of the room, and all this is happening, blowing up. And the other family that had gotten me, which was a black family, knew immediately when they looked, was like, this ain't my child. This was a white child. And so what ends up happening, the hospital is trying to figure out what's going on. You've got my Richard's going crazy like a lunatic about this, and my mom finally just like breaks down, just breaks down, and as she's just like sitting there going, "Where's my baby? Where's that's the only thing she can think of is like, where's my baby? Where's my?" And she's trying to get up, but she can't get up because of after having labor, she's really really weak, and I am. And the other family is trying to find and say to the nurses, "Hey, this is our child," and in the influence, Dr. Hamer, to his way, he was a very calm, polite, loving man, very stoic but very firm. You know, goes immediately because he delivered both the children, and he's like, "Look, this is a mix-up. This child here goes to blah blah blah's room, and I guarantee you, your child is probably with them, and they're probably freaking out. Maybe not as much as your follow, Richard is, but they are freaking out too. So eventually, so what ends up happening is that I was given to a black family, and the black child was given to my family, and the black people were more they were more loving and more kind of like they nurtured me. I mean, so when I'm being brought, my the husband, the lady is bringing me with the nurse, and then they're trying to work this out and have an apology. They have to escort my biological father out of the place because he is like completely uninjured. I don't know how he didn't get arrested, honestly. But finally, I'm given to my mom. My mom has me for the first time, and I'm in her arms, and she looks at me and she's like, "This is the beginning of your life." Sorry, it's already been so confusing. And so, with that, it kind of sets the tone of what I have always called, and I've told some of my little stories in my books, T, the Arid Adventures. Um, but it's like that was the beginning of Derek's adventure, and that's why I named the book T, spelling the T. But the Arid, spelled my name backwards, is Arid. Take off the K, it's Arid Adventures. And so with that, that's how I was brought into the world. God, as my grandmother would say, she would say, it was snowing, but the sun came out because God delivered you to us. And that's kind of like what she always say in her recordings. And so with that, you got to think, in all of this, one thing I want you to get out of it is you're going to find out that God has a great sense of humor. He really does. Because that's how I was brought into the world. And that's how crazy. That's just one of the crazy adventures that I've had to go through in my 48 years of life now. Wow. Wow. So, yeah, there you go. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. If you want any more of these stories, for me, I wanted to get it out there in one way, shape, form, or fashion. As always, thank you so much for being a great supporter of the channel. I love y'all. Y'all mean a lot to me. It has helped me to have this channel, especially with a lot of health issues that ended up happening to me along this adventure. So this is very therapeutic for me to be able to share these stories with you, and I hope that you find a little humor in them, and I hope that you like them, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.